Um, well, I think if you spend your money right here with the little bit you they make and you stretch it and you go around to the different stores, they do have some things that you could afford, instead of, let's say, going the Chetomal or the Melchor.
Well, it kind of affordable. It depends on your job we have, but it is expensive, especially if you have kids and you have to pay rent, pay light, and everything. It's very costly, especially if you don't have a good job.
So you think like people just live from
From paycheck to paycheck, paycheck to paycheck, especially with gas. Gas is high, light bill very high as well too.
Not so affordable. Like the harder you try to survive, the more you try to survive, the harder to strive. Like every day something go, yeah.
what for you? What
Because
is
me, like I sell food, I sell breakfast and I sell lunch, but the area where I there, I just have to sell to suit the neighborhood where I there.
Earlier you heard about the economic downturn, and now up north, where the start of the 2019 sugar crop has been postponed until mid-January 2020, and it is expected that the delay will result in millions of dollars in losses to the country. The impact of the drought continues to affect the agro-productive sector, including the sugar industry, one of several pillars of Belize's economy. All things considered, it is estimated that there will be a reduction of 300,000 tons of sugarcane milled in the upcoming season. While a date for the actual start of the crop is yet to be determined, BSI's manager for cane farmer relations, Olivia Aviles, says that at a subsequent meeting on January 3rd, it will be decided when the season commences.
On November 20th, we met with the stakeholders, especially the farming associations, to discuss a possible crop start date. And during that meeting, we were able to determine really that we were actually unable to start a crop in the usual time that we start, which is usually the first or the second week of December, mainly for the reasons of the drought impact on the cane that was harvested last December, and also due to pest damage on the production. No? So essentially, we are looking at a reduced production budget or production estimate for the upcoming crop. We had previously projected around 1.3 million tons of cane, similar to what was milled in the 2019 crop season. However, the SCPC is now indicating 1 million production estimate, and therefore that's under 300,000 tons of cane. The 300,000 tons of cane is essentially the cane that was cut in December of 2018 and then partly in January 2019. Those are the canes that have been affected.
Have you guys been able to perhaps set a future date as to when the crop will commence?
The exact date will be discussed in an upcoming meeting on January 3rd that we agreed we would reconvene to discuss the exact start date. But we are estimating that mid-January could be a possible, that week of mid-January, we could determine an exact date for the start.
What impact, if any, does this have on the industry in terms of either losses or setbacks?
Well, this will have an impact on the entire country. I think the importance of the sugar industry, as you know, is one of the major industries in Belize. And for the North, 15% of all the Belize population depends on sugar. So any drop in production, any drop in amount of sugar production exported and sold is impact and trickles down right down to the tacos vendor at the street corner. So in terms of impact, we are looking at a 30% decrease throughout. No? So 30% decrease in cane, 30% decrease in sugar production income, and already that is having an impact on the cane price that we issue to farmers in early November. So definitely it trickled down right down to the tacos vendor, as I said.
If you are traveling to Chetumal anytime soon, you are being advised to be alert of your surroundings and especially so of taxi drivers. That's because a group of Belizeans were robbed on Saturday night while in neighboring Chetumal. According to online reports, a couple of Belizeans took a cab at Plaza de las Americas and asked the taxi driver to take them to the hotel where they were staying. One of the victims reported that the taxi driver was talking on the phone and uttered the words, "La Guadalupana is loaded, hurry up," believed to be code for his accomplices. So when the Belizeans arrived at the entrance of their hotel, two persons were waiting. One of them produced a handgun and held them up. The Mexican thieves demanded that the Belizeans hand over all they had. The culprits made off with 18,000 pesos, 900 US dollars, 200 Belize dollars, 2 passports, cell phones, and gold chains and bracelets. The thieves escaped on board a black Yamaha motorcycle. Coming up, we go west, where the community of Succotz says they will not tolerate bandits in the village.
The strength of Belize's tourism product on
A man and his family say that they are lucky to be alive after they were targeted by 3 armed men. The Chi family was at home last week Saturday when the criminals forced their way into their home in the village of Succotz. They made threats and got away with the family truck. Today, a fearful Alvin Chi recounted the terrifying ordeal and says that he now fears for his life. Reporter Andrea Polanco was out west today and tells us more about Chi's frightening encounter with the armed bandits who are believed to be Guatemalans.
Last week Saturday, 36-year-old Alvin Chi was at home just after 8 in the night when he was robbed of his pickup truck at gunpoint. He lives on the edge of San Jose Succotz, an area surrounded by bushes. Today, he recounts the frightening ordeal when 3 armed men entered his home. Fearing for his life, Chi handed over the keys to his white Tacoma pickup truck and he begged the thieves not to hurt his family.
As I step out the room, I saw the one man having a gun pointing to my wife. So as that happened, I saw the next person jumping to the window. So this person came inside the house with a gun. He opened the door and after the person came, I saw the person that was outside with the gun was about to shoot. So my reaction was get the car keys and just give it to them. In the process, the person that was outside, by that time he was 2 of them had the gun in my head, one on the side and one on the front. I tell them just take the vehicle. I don't know nothing, just take it and don't hurt my family.
Although Chi cooperated, the thieves tied him up and threatened him before they left. He believes he's still alive today because he cooperated with them. The bandits, according to Chi, are Guatemalans. He says that they've taken his truck across the border by way of the Arenal Road.
They have some straps for they strap my wife and they let her down to the floor. Did the same to me. So nice, so sad, going.
So they took only your vehicle?
Yes, only my vehicle.
Did they demand anything else, any money, anything at all?
No, they were only cleared at the price to the police or it appears on Facebook.
This person speaks English, Spanish?
It was in Spanish and I very well know how the Asians speak in Spanish and how people from Guatemala speak.
So you believe these men are from across the border?
Yes, I'm 100% because to their accent. So I even tell the guys that the truck had 2 quarters of the tank full and it was in very good condition because even that at some point he said that if the truck is not good, they will, immediately come back and kill me. So I pretty much say that because I didn't refuse myself, that's why we are still alive.
Chi says that his neighbors saw the bandits in the village before they robbed him, and calls were made, but cops showed up almost an hour after the robbery. Now he says he's in fear for his family's safety.
I mean, I'm really afraid. I just don't know how I will manage because I asked police assistance safety according to what is
Chi and his family are still shaken up but thankful that they weren't killed. And now the loss of his vehicle is affecting his livelihood.
I'm very, I would say happy that none of my family members survived. Well, the material, I know the vehicle is one of my, because I do furniture, that's one of my tools, which I don't have now, and I have lost some 3 jobs already because not having any transportation. But
Reporting for News 5, I'm Andrea Polanco.
The Succotz residents are up in arms about criminals targeting vehicle owners. They say that several strangers, reportedly Guatemalans, are moving about freely in their community, conducting surveillance at different homes. These reported thieves, they claim, would then strike on unsuspecting residents. They report that 2 cycles and a vehicle were stolen from the village. So now they are prepared to put a stop to it. On Tuesday night, when a man believed to be one of the culprits was spotted in the village, residents armed themselves to hunt for him. The man got away, but villagers told News 5 today that they remain on alert and will deal with those criminals whenever they are caught in the village. Reporter Andrea Polanco has more.
2 trucks full of cops rolled into San Jose Succotz village around 2 this afternoon. The heavy police presence comes after more than 100 residents took to the streets to look for bandits that they say have been targeting the village for over a week. On Tuesday night, a resident spotted a stranger in the village. That man, they say, was taking pictures of a property.
We have noticed that the modus operandi of those guys is that they go and take pictures, and then during the course of the week or during the course of the other days, they come and try to sneak into the house and thief the vehicle. And so we were on the alert.
Residents took to the streets to hunt for that stranger, but he quickly disappeared into the bushes. Everyone we spoke with said that the bandits are Guatemalans. And today, the villagers made it clear that they will not tolerate these crimes in Succotz.
The ones who stole them, the vehicles, are Guatemalans. I don't know why people are afraid to say, oh, we can't talk about Guatemala. Guatemala is the one causing us trouble to us. And this is our land, and we can't move from here. We have to defend our turf. And that's what was shown last night. Vehicles, motorcycles, walking, running, machete, stick, whatever. Whatever we had our hands on, we had it. And we circled all over for the village. But lucky they escaped. A message was sent clear. If they don't understand, they will feel it after this. Because they know, that our forces don't do anything to them. They know it. That's why they come.
The bandits are reportedly accessing the border communities through Arenal or Moyahan roads. The thieves have stolen 2 motorcycles and a truck from this village. A second truck was stolen in the neighboring Benqueviejo. Now villagers have formed neighborhood watch groups and are clearing bushy lots. The village council is also leading some of the efforts to respond.
This is the first time that we are facing this kind of issue. And it is not only Succotz. I have heard that some other villages also, and also some towns also. So it's not just Succotz, no. But things are getting kind of hard, but we are trying to deal with this matter. No? We are working with the village council first, second the minister of the area, and also the Minister of National Security, no, to implement some security in the area.
Residents report that police presence is lacking in the village. They believe that criminals are taking advantage of this. They say that the police substation in the village is not always open, and that cops in the area don't always readily respond. And that is why they're now taking matters into their own hands.
We have a police station in Succotz where there's no policeman. The policeman in Succotz is being called to Benque. And whenever something happens in Succotz, we cannot find the police. We have to call Benque to assist. And then, it's almost a mile away. And the roads are extremely not good conditions to travel fast. So it takes a lot of time to reach there.
What we said is, if we caught that person or persons or culprits or bandits, we wouldn't hand it over to the police. We would do our own justice, because people like that, they come back. Police catch them, release them, go to Guatemala. Why they got killings in our village? They are Guatemalans, not Belizeans. No, make them nobody fool yourself. Belizeans shouldn't be fooled. The Belizeans are Guatemalans. Come and cause us disruption, destruction, killings. They run to their country. Nothing happens. We have to put a stop. And that's what Succotz people say, no, This is it. This has to be done, and it will be done. Last night we showed that we could handle. We don't need no policeman. In fact, they don't even go into the jungle. Not even, the bush, they don't go. They were right there, parked. They don't want to go. So because people had to go. Bandits now will come out in the street like that. But we have to put a stand, or else this will continue.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Andrea Polanco.
22-year-old Akeem Trapp, a resident of Flowers Bank, has been arrested and charged for the murder of Glenford Hines Jr. and the attempted murder of Albert Valentine, which took place in Punta Gorda on Sunday night. As we reported, Trapp was taken off a bus in the early hours of Monday morning by police officers near the dump as he attempted to return to Belize City following the deadly incident. It is believed that Valentine, an alleged criminal figure in the South, was the intended target of the armed attack. Hines was standing inside his family yard when Trapp allegedly turned his weapon on him and opened fire. When the gunfire subsided, Hines was mortally injured and Valentine had been shot in the left lower back and right hand. Trapp, viewers would recall, was recently acquitted of the murder of Ian Adolphus Jr., which occurred in February 2013 on Gill Street in Belize City. The court handed down a guilty verdict today against Valentine Baptist. The decision was delivered by Justice Colin Williams, who found Baptist guilty of the murder of 19-year-old Devon Parham. Baptist will be spending Christmas behind bars and will be sentenced in February 2020. In his lengthy decision, Justice Williams said that he was not convinced by a statement from the dock in which Baptist told the court that someone he knew only by face had given him a firearm and that he fled from the police because it was unlicensed. Justice Williams found that Baptist's account files in the face of common sense and that he had more faith in the prosecution. An officer testified that he and another officer were returning to the Raccoon Street police station when shots rang out in the area of Cemetery Road. There, they saw an individual on bicycle on Bocatora Street. The individual was pursued, but he abandoned his bicycle on George Street and ran into a yard. One of the cops set chase on foot while the other continued on mobile and finally caught up with the accused at the corner of West Canal and Dean Street, where he disposed of a handgun. The court also heard two statements, including one from Parham's cousin, who was the last person to see Parham alive. Parham's cousin testified that on July 16, 2016, they detected an armed individual in the area of Mortars Alley and Cemetery Road in Belize City. He managed to flee, but Devon was shot multiple times. 24-year-old Gilberto Chanek also appeared in the Supreme Court this morning. He was originally charged with the murder of 50-year-old Carlitos Valdez, but today he pleaded guilty to the lesser charge of manslaughter before Justice Colin Williams. The court accepted Chanek's guilty plea. His attorney, Senior Crown Simeon Sampson, asked the court that a psychological evaluation be undertaken on Chanek before his fate is determined. Justice Williams then ordered a mental health status report to be completed by January 27, 2020, prior to sentencing on January 30, 2020. The incident occurred on the night of August 3, 2018, when Chanek stabbed Valdez as many as 8 times with a knife. The commotion alerted other persons in the house where Valdez lived, including a police officer who apprehended the accused. As they say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Red, sweet, delicious apples have been imported by the Belize Camping Experience as part of their activities to raise funds for the programs. The healthy apples are in 3 different varieties and not the types that are traditionally sold in country throughout the year. They can be purchased from various locations all over the country. So try something new and delish and help the BCE. Here is News 5's Hipólito Novello with a report.
Every year, the Belize Camping Experience embarks on fundraising activities to keep their summer activities for kids going. This year, due to the deadly drought that affected the country, the BCE was unable to harvest sugarcane, and so Director Alexander Perez had to think quickly. Apples. With the assistance of some local farmers, Perez got in contact with Mexican apple farmers to sell during the Christmas season to make up the funds needed to keep the camping going. Today we caught up with him at the restaurant compound in Belize City.
They credited us one container full of apples. And if you see these apples, the apples have different cases. That means it's 7 different companies of apples that are sending us their best apples. Because one of the things I realized that they have apples in Mexico in that side, but they have never done a project like this. So we have to sell the apples for us to pay the farmers. They're generous. We still have to pay them. And so we can fundraise the finances that we need for Belize Camping Experience so that we can continue to work with the children and the youth.
The BCE is tasked in selling more than 1,200 boxes of apples in 3 varieties.
We have the Red Delicious, which is a red apple, and then we have the Glory. Yeah, the Glory is beautiful. It's a green-yellow. When it gets ripe, it gets really nice and yellow. And then we have the Gala apple, which is short lifespan apples. And those are the 3 varieties. We could have brought 8 varieties, but these are the varieties that we know in Belize. And they are one of the amazing things with these apples. If you see, they're not shining, right? Because they came directly from the orchard. When you buy the North American apple, it has the wax, and a lot of people don't know you gotta put that in water to remove the wax. But it looks pretty. But these apples are as nice and fresh.
800 cases have been sold so far. The case is being sold for $120, and with the help of the Belize Marketing Board and Development, the apples are being sold quickly.
If you're buying more than 1 case, so you buy 5 cases, we give you $100 a case, right? And it doesn't depend if it's small, big, we sell it right through. And we, through the partnership with the marketing board, we have welcomed the importers to buy from these apples so that they can help us to sell into the market, because it's a lot of apples and we're not competing with them. We're not competing with no one. This is a fundraising activity.
It's a great initiative. We always look forward to assist the Belizean entrepreneurs. What's not to say these young children attending the summer camp will be future entrepreneurs of Belize.
The feedback are great. People are actually like it. They say it's very nice, very juicy, and well, I mean, they like the quantity and the amount they paid for. They get good quality as well.
The Belize Camping Experience engages young leaders with positive, fun, life-changing experiences that develop confidence and competence through several summer activities.
Whatsoever we can raise from the proceeds of these apples is going to cover for the budget of this year. Because of the Harvest for Kids, we run short for this year's budget. This is going to help us so that we can continue the summer camps. We had 1,050 kids came to summer camp. We had 75 young people got trained across the country of Belize. And we have the follow-ups that are happening through the whole year.
Reporting for News 5, Hipólito Novello.
After the break, the Youth Apprenticeship Program closes with 60 new graduates.
I stopped school when I was about 16 years old. From then I started fishing.
The popular youth apprenticeship program concluded today with a ceremony at the Radisson Hotel. The group of young men and women will be knocking on doors and hopefully getting the opportunity to get jobs to earn a living. Some of the past graduates are testimony that the program paves the way to a better quality of life. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
60 Belize City youth proudly received their certificates of completion today at the Radisson Fort George, having met all the requirements and excelling during the 6-month youth apprenticeship program for 2019. The young men and women are the 10th cohort of the program, which was established back in 2010. Overwhelmed about reaching this milestone, Coordinator Diane Finnegan spoke on the success so far.
My youth choke me up because I always tell them just surprise me. I don't attend their graduation practices because I want them to be themselves. And so I don't know what the agenda is until I get here. And what can I say? If society does not see that the greatest asset in this country are young people, something is wrong with them. So who doesn't want to celebrate them? That's their business. But I'm super proud of these young people.
Among the graduates were at least 30 young men believed to have been at risk but wanted to become productive citizens in society. So what's next for these graduates?
Some of them are fully employed, so they go back to work on Monday, and I'm super proud of them. Those who did not make it, they continue through the apprenticeship program where we provide them with job letters, and we continue to look for job opportunities for them, because oftentimes the employers would call us back and then bring them on full time. So we really keep close contact with them.
I know a number of them are also furthering their education, have applied to tertiary and high school.
It's mandatory. They must get their high school diploma. They must go all the way to the top. And as Mr. Cadle shared earlier, we fight for that. There must be no reason why they cannot reach their level of greatness. This is a second chance program, and we must do that all the way to the top.
While several persons who participated in the program over the past 10 years have since lost their lives to gun violence, hundreds more have gone on to live successful lives, having a job and achieving an associate's and in some cases a bachelor's degree. Guest speaker Tanya Bowen was one of the first apprentices of the program and is achieving her bachelor's degree in social work from the University of Belize come June 2020. The mother of one is also a homeowner and is working. She offers advice to the graduates.
To be honest, everybody's journey will be different. I don't think everybody's journey will be the same. My journey was rough, when I started, I had my own personal challenges. I mean, it wasn't something easy, first of all, to meet the requirements of the program. I mean, sometimes your basic needs, which is like food, shelter, water, those are the things, and if you don't have those, it's hard for you to move on to the next step, and many of these youths comes in with that same problem. Support is needed all around. Most importantly, the families, we need support there, and in terms of the basic needs, we have to try and link them to the resources we know that the system here in Belize City offer. The advice I would give to them is to stay positive, stay connected to the people who could help you along your path, because I mean, the easiest thing to happen after you leave the program is to get distracted. You go back to the same environment. So you got to be strong. You got to stay with people who can get you somewhere. I mean, not the same environment where all the negative is happening,
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
The Youth Apprenticeship Program is a program through the Ministry of Education. This year, Coordinator Diane Finnegan says that the polo shirts used by the graduates at today's ceremony were donated by the Prime Minister. Notably absent from the ceremony was Minister of Education and Deputy Prime Minister Patrick Faber. Finnegan explains that he was invited but didn't show up. Finnegan is a supporter of Faber's political opponent for the UDP leadership, John Saldivar. Did this cause a no-show? Here is Finnegan's response.
We know that you have come out as a supporter of John Saldivar, and your minister is the opponent of Mr. Saldivar for the leadership race. Is there some distance being taken by the minister because you're there with him?
Well, I can't answer for him, and you'd have to ask him that.
If you were to judge by actions, I'm sure an invitation was extended, I would imagine.
Yes, we did. I'm not sure if he's in the country. I don't know what is the reason for why he's not here. I saw a group of individuals from the Ministry of Education, including the CEO, earlier when we were coming out of the elevator, and they were heading down. I'm not sure if he was busy at another engagement, but we did extend. He is the Minister of Education. He really heads the youth apprenticeship program and has always been a part of the ceremony. So I'm not sure why he did not make it today.
So put it simple like this, to use vernacular. If you made a ride with the money man there,
I can't answer that either, Jules. I can't say that for sure. You know, things happen, and sometimes engagements clash. And he didn't communicate with me that he had another engagement, so I'm not sure why he's not here today.
There's much more news after the break, so stay tuned. It's the season of giving. Going into the Christmas holidays, a number of initiatives are springing up to make the season festive for deserving families. Now, the Jingle Box initiative started 10 years ago. The box contains all the goodies to make the Christmas meal a hit. The staff over at Bowen & Bowen is partnering with a number of agencies to spread good cheer. Here is News 5's Dwayne Moody.
They are called jingle boxes, filled with all the ingredients that you would need, including a gift certificate to shop at Quality Poultry this festive season to have that complete Christmas dinner for the family. It is an initiative from the staff over at Bowen & Bowen, headquartered in Belize City. And as John Palacios says, the 210 boxes will be distributed countrywide.
It is the 10th year, a staff initiative. See, one of the things about B&B is that we're so cognizant of what the country is like right now, how it is economically for families. So the staff came up with the initiative of saying, you know what, why can't we donate and then the company matches and then from there we move on. Last year we did 200 boxes. This year we were able to get 210 boxes, each box worth at about $80 Belize.
In its 10th year, the company is partnering once again with organizations that work with the marginalized, from the Women's Department to Hand in Hand Ministries, as well as humanitarian Joel Dara Robinson. With thousands in need, the recipients spoke of the criteria when issuing the jingle boxes to the families.
I want to say thank you to Bowen & Bowen and their staff, as it is a great initiative. I know that our beneficiaries will be very, very grateful to receive this jingle box this year. We do have many people who access our services, and how we've selected these families is we choose the most needy of the needy. I know I wish we had more than 10, but I'm grateful and I'm happy that we did receive, and the 10 families who have been notified has expressed their gratitude.
It's going to be a rather difficult task to decide 10 people to benefit from these jingle boxes. However, I will be prioritizing those who come out swinging for the organization, those who give back. You know, these are the top people that will be on my list.
I wish more business will champion this, because I think the best thing you could get a family in need a box of grocery, you know, and this is too easy for me to select, because I have 50 plus kids and I just want to select whatever amount they give and give it back to them, right, because they're already in need, you understand? So that's one easy thing for I pick, depends on the amount I get, you know, and I'm more than blessed this, you know, and this is how I champion, and that's my passion.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
Albert Standard Bearer Paul Thompson is spearheading a feeding program in his constituency where for 2 weeks out of the month, his office is providing fruits and healthy juices to 3 Belize City primary schools. This morning, we caught up with him at James Garbutt Seventh-day Adventist School, where he was delivering bananas, apples, and freshly squeezed orange juice to the students.
A recent study that I read indicated that 49% of children in Belize live in some level of poverty. As the aspiring area representative for the Albert Division, we wanted to address this need. And so we collaborated with the Belize City Council from the Standard Bearer's office in the Albert Division. And we are having an initiative called Healthy Eats. This Healthy Eats initiative is an initiative where for the last few months, 2 weeks out of the month, we provide a combination of apples and bananas or apples and orange juice to over 600 children in the Albert Division. We would have hoped that we could do every day of the month to provide these healthy eats for our children. But as you know, we're not the government, and so the resources that we have, we try to do with what we have. And so according to the principals and what we see with the children, it is something that's very welcome and something that we believe that addresses a need that we have in this country. This may sound like a tired phrase, but our children are our most precious resource, and we not only have to provide and nourish education to our children, but we literally have to nourish our children, not with just food, not with fried chicken and biscuit and ideal and all of that, but we want to provide healthy living. So that's why we selected and we chose bananas and apples and orange juice.
Coming up after the break, if your Christmas meal involves turkey or chicken, head over to Quality Poultry and beat the rush.
report with a global perspective.
At dinner tables across the country, turkey is a key part of the holiday meal. In other areas, it would not feel like Christmas without chicken in relleno or escabeche. Whatever your family tradition is, don't wait last minute to get the birds ready. Over at Quality Products, there are enough turkeys and chickens, and all systems are in place to make your shopping easier. Here is Dwayne Moody with a report.
It was a busy day over at Quality Poultry Products as residents are striking off the list of items needed for the Christmas festivities. From small to large turkeys, the company is well prepared to meet the demand this year.
All our branches, we have people dedicated towards the turkeys. So if you come in the branches from Corozal to Dangriga, including the island, we do have extra people that will be there to assist you in getting your turkey products. Because yes, if you're like me, we want the biggest turkey. Right, so if you bend your back and so forth, then there is strain on the back. So yes, we do have people at the branches to ensure that you are being dealt with and you are being attended to properly, and that when you leave with that excellent customer service as well as the best turkeys in Belize. So every year the question arises whether or not we will have enough turkey in country. The answer is definitely yes, there is no doubts about it. I do want to remind people though, if you're sitting home and you haven't purchased your turkey as yet and you're thinking, I will wait last minute, because again, that is our tradition and our culture, wait last minute. If you are waiting last minute for that smaller turkey, then you will have a problem, right? Because remember, we can't supply only the small size turkeys, right? We want to ensure that we have a good amount in stock, right? A good range of sizes in stock.
But for those in the north and south whose celebration will feature a different take on the Christmas dinner, there's a wide range of chickens which are on sale throughout the country this week. Belize City Branch Manager Andres Salgado speaks about the great deals.
For this week, we have a big sale going on in terms of the chicken for the entire week. Starting on Monday and we'll end on Saturday, we are giving the pound of chicken for $1.90 and $1.96 per pound of whole chicken, right? So, I mean, it's Christmas. You hear about Christmas savings, and of course, Quality as well wants to give back. So this is how we will be giving back to our customers with the huge savings on chickens this week. A lot of people up north and down south, they like soup for Christmas. So it's a little unorthodox to Belize City and to Belmopan. However, for the people up there, that's their tradition. And so they prefer soup. So they will do relleno for Christmas, they do their escabeche. Of course, they do tamales, right? And they prefer either chicken or what we call a stewing hen, right? So that is their to-go Christmas dish, as opposed to us in Belize City and in Belmopan and the other districts. We are turkey. We love for we turkey, right? It's the rice and beans, the traditional Belizean rice and beans and turkey and ham and stuffings and salad, right? So again, we are trying to give back to everybody. We're trying to ensure that everybody gets the benefit from Quality Poultry.
Salgado says that its prices are very competitive in the market for wholesale and retail for turkeys and chicken. Salgado also says that their products are HACCP certified, the best and cleanest in Belize. Dwayne Moody for News 5.
And this news, well-known Belizean nationalist and playwright Hipólito Bautista passed away earlier today after battling a stroke. Bautista is remembered for his role as acting chief broadcasting officer at the then Radio Belize at the time of the Heads of Agreement preceding Belize's independence. He was also involved in the Corozal Free Zone and ran for office as an independent. This afternoon, close friend and colleague Francis Gegg stopped by to remember Bautista and his contributions to the country.
Bao was such a tremendous Belizean hero, Belizean patriot. One of the perhaps not so well known of all his accomplishments and all the things he had been involved in. Coming out of the civil service, he had been, I think, risen to the level of a PS or right close to that. He was very involved in NETEF and Beltrade in creating what would become the Free Zone, Commercial Free Zone Management Agency, and thereafter the Corozal Free Zone. He was involved in the writing of the law as well as in bringing that free zone into reality from nothing, sort of a dead rise, because in actual fact they never did have the money or capital needed to bring it into reality.
Now, one of the many things he would be remembered for, and this is for the older folks, was his involvement with Radio Belize. Can you talk to me a bit about that? Perhaps a little snapshot as to what occurred at that time.
He was at that point in time involved, I think, in Belmopan, and he became acting chief broadcasting officer right around the point in time when the heads of agreement were rearing their ugly head. Mr. Bao was actually at Radio Belize during the time when the riots were taking place, in which Lobamba and the mob, the crowd, were trying to shut down Radio Belize. And Mr. Bao was having a difficult time making a decision because George Price was telling him, stay on air, keep the radio on at all costs. But the mob was breaking down the door of Radio Belize, trying to get in there to shut it down.
And that's the news. Don't forget that tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Charlie Hutchinson. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, good night.